This video will show how to place the reinforcement to concrete column and concrete beam. In Tekla structure, there are many ways to do that. Okay, we'll start adding the reinforcement manually. Let me select this column and then create 3D view. Okay, so the reason why I isolate this column so that I can concentrate on this particular element. Alright, so I can start placing the reinforcement here using our rebar. So remember, we have different types of rebar here. So we have this rebar group and just a reinforcing bar. This one is a single bar. So I'm going to start with the rebar group, shift, and click. So let's say here, I will add a main bar. And then the size, I'm going to use the T20. Say the color red. And then at the moment, the hook, I choose the no hook. And then on plane, it will be 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so the reason why I change the cover thickness so that we can see the reaction of the reinforcement once we add the value in our on plane, from plane, start and end. Okay, so now pick the part to reinforce. So the part to reinforce is this column, so select, and then pick the shape of the bar. So the shape of the bar will be straight from the bottom to the top of column, and then middle button of your mouse, and then pick 2 points to indicate the range of the reinforcement. So I need to pick 1 and then 2, so that will be the range of our reinforcement. So now you can see that I have now the main bar. Okay, so let's start changing our on plane. So here, if I say on plane 40, enter. So 40, it means it will go out of the plane. Again, we can just simply add negative so that it will go inside the concrete. So that's the 40 millimeter cover thickness. And then from plane, if I say another 40, enter. So as you can see, it will go again inside the concrete. Okay, so you will notice the reinforcement changes to 3 quantity. Why? Because of the target spacing here is 200. But if I choose the number of reinforcing bar, and then here I will keep it 4 quantity, enter. So it will keep the 4 pieces of the reinforcement. Okay, so how about the start and end? Start, if I say 50, enter, so it will go up. So that one is the 50. And then if I say negative 50, it will go outside the concrete. Alright? So let's say, for example, this bottom part is connected to the foundation. So I will say negative 1000, enter. So now, that one could be connected to our foundation. Or maybe let's say I'll put here 750 only. Also, the top part, if you want to extend that one, again, if I say 500, it will go down. Negative, it will go outside the column. So if you're okay with this one, then we can move on to the hook. So for the hook, of course, we have 2 hook here. The hook at the start and hook at the end. So the hook at the start, I will choose 90 degrees and then modify. So there you go. So I have 90 degrees hook. But if you want to use the custom hook, it means this one you can control the angle, the radius, and the length. If you just choose the 90 degrees, it means it's fixed to this value. But if you want to change that one, just choose the custom hook, and then let's say change the radius to 20, and then the length of this one to be 250. So I have now this hook. So for the top part of the rebar, you can also change the hook here at the end. You can say 90 and then modify. But if you want to change the direction of the hook to the other side, you can select the custom hook and then change this one to negative 90, modify. Okay, but at the moment we just use the straight hook here. Okay, so now once you're okay with this one side, we can just simply select and then copy from this point to another point, and you will notice the position of our rebar will be on the outside of the concrete. Okay, so all you have to do is just simply open the properties. Since this one is a custom hook, all you have to do is to change the of course negative, so it will go to the other side, modify, and also for the on plane I will use a positive 40 millimeter, and then that's inside now the concrete. Once we're okay with the main rebar, we can now add the stirrups or the link. So for the stirrups and link, I can just go again to the bar group, and then here I will change this one to name to links, and then here I will use, let's say, 10 millimeter bar. Bending is 20, and then I'll choose the different color here, and then the hook will be I can choose 135 start and 135 end, and then or I can also change this one to custom so that I can change the length here to 50. I think 120 is too long, so I'll just change this one to 50, and then again the rules here in the cover thickness, I will choose 25 on plane, and then from plane let's say 50, and then start and end must be 25 and 25 since I'm going to do the close link again. And for the distribution, instead of using the number of rebar, I will choose the spacing value or target spacing value. Let's say I will put 200, and then pick the part to reinforce, select the column, and then 1, 2, rotate a little bit, 3, 4, oops. So if you mistakenly click the wrong position, all you have to do is to press backspace. No need for you to repeat again. So 4, and then 5, and then middle button of your mouse, and then pick 2 points to indicate the range of the reinforcement. So let's say I'm going to pick this one, 1, and then 2, and there you go. So I have now this reinforcement link and then the main bar placed in the column. So you can easily add that one manually as well. Alright, so if you're okay with this one, all we have to do is to close this view, and then I can say select this rebar, Control 2, and then select the link, right click, copy to another object. So select the origin or the source, which is this column, and then select the destination column, 1, 2, and then 3. Okay, now what if I select this beam? What will happen? Let's see. Select the beam. So actually it looks okay. The links is properly placed there. The only thing is we need to have a little bit of adjustment to our main bar here. Okay, but anyway, I just show how this one works. But basically, let's say I can just use the link, and then I will choose my I will create my main bar in this beam separately. So now this time I'm going to select this beam and then create the view, the 3D view, okay, separately in this beam. So I'm going to create again additional or the new main bar for the beam, because if you notice earlier, the bend of the beam is not the way that we want to. So I want the bending of our main bar in the proper position. So in this case, I can go back to my rebar group, and then here I will type again main bar. Then this one must be let's say 20 again, 20, then change again to red, and then no hook, no hook, and then this one, let's say 45, and then 50. So let's say I'll start 25, 25, and then the number of reinforcing bar must be 4 again. So select 1, select the part to reinforce, and then 1, 2, middle button of your mouse, and then pick the 2 points to indicate the range. So 1, 2, that's the range of my reinforcement, and there you go. Okay, so all I have to do is again copy from this point to this point so that I have also the top main bar there. Double click and then change again the position of our on plane. Instead of positive, I'll put negative, and there you go. So since this one is a reinforcement for our cast in place concrete, okay, so all I have to do is to extend this reinforcement. Okay, so maybe I'll just go to the to other view so that you can see the other reinforcement here. So here all I have to do is change now the start and end. So let's say I'm going to change this one to the start to negative 100, modify. So there you go. So negative 100, and then change this one to negative 100 also for the other side. Here, negative 100. Now, I can bend this one now, going down 90 degrees again. So select the hook at start, let's say 90 degrees, modify, so it will go up. So of course I'm going to use now my custom hook and change this one to negative, and then this one is 20, and then this one is 200, modify. So now I have this connection for my cast in place beam to the column. Okay, so same thing to the other side. I will use the 90 degrees, or let's say I'm going to use the custom hook, negative 90, 20, and then 200, modify, and there you go. All right, and maybe let's say I'm going to change the number of bars here. Let's say 5. Yeah, 5 rebars. And then at the top, let's say this one is 3 bars. And then change the same thing. I need to change the end. Where is the end? Yeah, this one. So this time I'm going to change this one to, let's say, negative 400 and negative 400, modify. Yeah, and then for the hook, I will choose again the 90 degrees hook and change it to custom. And here, negative 90 again, negative 90, modify. So let's say 20, and then this one I will change this one to a longer length. So 20 and then 400, modify. So that is how you connect now the cast in place beam to the column. Okay, so if you're happy with this connection, or maybe sorry, so in this case maybe I'll just put that one on only on the half. So let's say this one is 200. Yeah, because I need to add another reinforcement to the other beam. So since I have already the reinforcement for this beam, all I have to do is select again 1, 2, 3, right click, copy to another object, or I can just simply select assembly, and then select the whole assembly, and then here, as you can see, there is a copy all content to another object. Okay, copy all content to another object. It means I'll just simply select this beam and this beam, and then you will have the reinforcement. Okay, the reason why there's a sound, because there is already an existing component there, which is the cutting of the beam. So anyway, you can just simply ignore that one. Okay, so now you have the reinforcement for our cast in situ beam and cast in situ column, or in other words, they said cast in place beam and cast in place column. Okay, so this is the manual way of adding it. Now, let's say we'll go to the component. Here again, I can use my column reinforcement, type column reinforcement. So as you can see here, I have a different column reinforcement here. So I'll just use the system component available in the system, which is rectangular column reinforcement number 83. Just double click on that one. So in this case, we don't need to model that one by one. I mean, the reinforcement, no need to model one by one, but here we have the parameters that we can add this reinforcement. So let's say for the end part, I have the T20. Okay, so it means symmetrical condition for the four sides. So for the bar end, you can see how, let's say for example, earlier I have this extension to connect to the foundation. So here you can also do the same thing for the corner bar. Let's say what do you call that? Let's say 500. Okay, for the top bar, top corner bar, let's say 500 as well. Right here we have also the option to make it crank. Okay, if you want to connect one column first floor to the second floor, but I'll show that one to you later. Okay, so once we have this one, I can if I want to add the sidebar, then I will just simply add one here, and then one here, one, and then one. So one each. And then stirrups, so you can specify the stirrups, whether you want the 135 degrees bending or 90 degrees, and then you can specify the size of the stirrups, and then the spacing of the stirrups. Let's say I have 200. And then the good thing with this rectangular column reinforcement is you have a different zone that you can change the if you want to have more reinforcement to the bottom and the top, then you can do so. So at this point of time, I will just use the same spacing, and then intermediate link. If you want, then you can add bottom and top. Just simply apply. All you have to do is to click, and there you go. So I have already the reinforcement automatically. But for the sidebar, because I just use the default, so here the sidebar I will just choose this one. Means it will be at the center of the, yeah, so automatically there will be a intermediate link, center of the column. Okay, so if you want to change also the reinforcement size of the center, let's say 20, and then modify, so it will change. And then if you don't want the intermediate link, and then just maybe just remove this, or here, and then modify. Okay, so you don't have the, so now if you want to extend also the sidebar, here at the bar end, let's put 500 here, 500 here, modify. And for the bending, of course, here let's say 200, 200, 200, modify. So you have now the bending for the sidebars. Okay, so if you apply this one, apply and okay, so all you have to do is select these three columns, these two columns and the other columns. Okay, right, so no need for you to do the copy command. So that's the column rebar. And for the beam, I will just type here 90. Yeah, so rebar in beam 90. So here again, there's a lot of parameters in this beam wherein you can specify the bending and the hooks of the main bar in this beam. You have the primary bar, the side left, side right, stirrups. So you have a different stirrups conditions here. Okay, so let's apply and then use the let's say I'm going to use the default parameters here. So select and then 1, 2. Okay, so there you go. So I have now this reinforcement. So just simply select the beam and then pick the 2 points for the position. Then you will have this reinforcement of the beam. Then click OK. So if you're happy with that one, I can just simply select again, select the beam and then 1 and then 2. Select the beam 1 and 2. And then you have the reinforcement. Okay, so that's the second way of adding or placing the reinforcement in our cast-in-place column and cast-in-place beam. Okay, so now we have also the other way of adding the reinforcement. Okay, we call this one as the rebar set. Okay, rebar set, this one, rebar set. So for the rebar set, let me just show you how this one works. So again, I can isolate this column and then create 3D view. So this time I will just show this one first in the column. Maybe I will tackle that one in a different videos, but just to give you the idea what is this rebar set all about. So in rebar set, I have this create crossing rebars and then create longitudinal bars. So longitudinal bars mostly for the main bar, like what we did earlier, and then the crossing rebar is for the links. Okay, so let's say I'll start with the longitudinal bar. Okay, so once I click this one, all I have to do is to if I place my cursor to the column, so you will notice that it will highlight the shape of the column. So let's say I'm going to add, I will click on this one and then I will select this surface, this side 1, and then Control 2. So I'm going to add my longitudinal bar on these two sides. Okay, middle button of your mouse, and then there you go. So you have now the two sides of your reinforcement. But of course, if you want to add that one for the 4 sides, all you have to do is to click again, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then middle button of your mouse. Then the reinforcement will be on the 4 sides of the column. Okay, so for the create crossing bar, okay, again I'm going to select this one, and then as you can see again, there will be a highlight, or it will show the preview of the shape of the column. So again, click on that one and then select where you want to add, or which side you want to create the position of your crossing bar. So let's say 1, 2, 3. If you want to have a U-shaped bar, then 1, 2, 3. But if you want to have a close link, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then middle button of your mouse. So that's it. Again, select, and then 1, 2, Control 3, 4, and then middle button of your mouse. And there you go. So now, how about this cover? Okay, so for this cover, maybe what I will do is I will just delete these 2 sides, and then I will leave only the 2 sides of the main bar. So for the cover, you can just simply select this direct modification, and then select this cover, Okay, select. And then as you can see here, you have a different option here. Let's say this one is the layer order number. So if I click this one, automatically it will go inside. Okay, again, if I click this, it will go outside the link, and then if I click this one, it will go inside. So again, the same thing here, select inside and out. All right. So for this link, I'm going to select again this one, and then here you can see add and detail modifier. So if I click this one, then you will have the end detail modifier here. So this is the other way of adding the reinforcement in your concrete. Okay, so we call that one as a rebar set. Okay, so now let me go through the drawing. Okay, so let's say in this case I'm going to create the view at grid 1. Okay, create view, and then using 2 points. So this one is grid 1. Okay. So in this case, I can go to my drawing properties and then GA drawing. So here, I will say use my GA elevation, load, and then layout. So select the specified layout. Let's say this one is a 841 by 594. Then A1, apply, and OK. So let's see what will be our output. So of course for the view, I can say 75 degrees should be okay. We can change that one later. Apply and OK. So now create drawing, GA drawing. So 3D view. I'm going to select this 3D view 3, and then create. All right. So nothing shown here because I think I need to change this one to standard and then modify. Yeah. So now it's too small, so we can just simply change this one to a bigger scale. Let's say 25. Hopefully that one is enough. Okay, so should be okay. And then of course the reinforcement is filtered in the settings. So of course this one is we can change the setting. If you just double click this border or the view properties, we can just simply select the reinforcement, and then here, since this one is not visible, I can say visible and then double lines and then modify. Okay, so we can also change the appearance of the reinforcement. Let's say I'll go for the green color of the reinforcement. Yeah, so that is the positioning of our reinforcement. If you want to change also the visibility, so let's say I want only the first and last bar, so the links will not be shown. All right, the links will not be shown. Only the I mean the full link is not shown. All the links will not be shown, but it will show only the first and then the last. But even though it's first and last, you can also select the this link and then right click, and then you can also adjust the location if you like. See, again, adjust location. You can adjust that one. Okay, if you don't like, then leave it. And then here you can also have the option here to add dimension mark. So all you have to do is to click dimension mark, and then you will have now 18T10 and 199. 199 is the actual spacing of the bar, but of course you can change this one to the not the actual but the target. So from marking here, instead of the CC here, I will just use CC target, add, and then modify. So that will be the target, right? Apply and OK. So now all you have to do is to select all the links here, right click, and then add dimension mark. So automatically it will give you this dimension mark. And for the column as well, select all the links here, right click, and then add dimension mark. There you go. So 23 T10 and 199 again. And if you want to show the reinforcement automatically, the bar marking automatically, so you can always go to this view properties, and then here you can go to this reinforcement mark, and then group, or let's say maybe there's a standard settings here. Okay, not really group. So let's say number, grade, and then diameter. Just simply merging leader line, maybe one leader line in a group, then appearance, then this one should be okay, and then modify. So there you go. So you will have the reinforcement automatically, the reinforcement mark. Okay, now if you want to have a section, so go to this view and then section view. Okay, so click on that one, and then so there you go. So you have now the section view for the column. Again, you need to turn on the reinforcement marking or reinforcement here. Reinforcement, make it visible. Then double lines. All that one should be okay. Then the appearance must be green again to make it more vibrant. Okay, and sorry, so I need to also to add the reinforcement mark here. Go to this reinforcement mark and then load the standard. So I don't have my setting here, but I'm just using the default setting in a group, and then just simply modify, and there you go. So you can see here the positioning of the mark position or rebar position. Let's say rebar position. Okay. Even for this one, if I want to have a section for my beam, okay, so I'll just put it here. Now that I apply the properties, so it will be automatically shown here. So this is how we place the reinforcement in the Tekla structure. It could be manual, or using the component, or using the rebar set. Okay, thank you.